to Comfort TV, the channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. My name is Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us again. In the headlines, President Tinubu sends 3 ambassador nominees to Senate after 2-year gap. Service chiefs back NDA reforms as new commandants begin strategic engagements. Federal government launches youth-focused electric tricycle empowerment initiative. Defense Minister says Nigeria is making steady gains against banditry amidst fresh school attack. Lagos APC backs President Tinubu's security agencies, hails boost in police recruitment. Federal government terminates multiple Abuja, Lokoja and Kogi Road contracts over non-performance. On business news, Kano Free Trade Zone records over 18 billion naira revenue surge in 2025. VFD Group extends rights issue to December 26 following strong investor demand. On the foreign scene, Israeli airstrikes continue in Gaza amid ceasefire targeting residential areas. Bangladesh court sentences former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to 21 years in corruption cases. And on sports, Arsenal's Madueke looks forward to weekend clash with former club Chelsea. Cambodia withdraws from 8 SCA Games sports in Thailand over safety concerns. Now the news. President Bola Tinubu has transmitted the names of 3 ambassador nominees to the Senate for screening and confirmation, marking the first concrete step towards restoring Nigeria's diplomatic presence abroad since the mass recall of ambassadors over 2 years ago. The nominees are Mr. Kayode Are, Mr. Aminu Dalhatu, and Mr. Ayodele Oke. The submission comes more than 2 years after President Tinubu recalled all ambassadors from Nigeria's 109 foreign missions in September 2023, 4 months after assuming office. The recall was part of a comprehensive plan to overhaul the nation's diplomatic operations, but the absence of replacement left embassies to be managed by chargé d'affaires, career civil servants without full diplomatic authority recognized by host countries. This prolonged gap has drawn criticism from analysts and diplomats, particularly as Nigeria sought to expand foreign investment, trade partnership, infrastructure support, and strategic security alliances. The delay in appointing ambassadors became more pronounced amid heightened diplomatic tensions, including disputes with the United States, which designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged human rights issues. Observers noted that the lack of fully empowered ambassadors may have limited Nigeria's capacity to respond to international concerns and protect national interests effectively. Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the receipt of the names during plenary, indicating that additional nominations are expected in the coming weeks. The transmission of these names signal the administration's commitment to filling key diplomatic positions and restoring Nigeria's international engagements after a prolonged hiatus. The nominees will now undergo screening and confirmation by the Senate before assuming their diplomatic responsibilities. Their appointments are anticipated to strengthen Nigeria's global representation, enhance bilateral and multilateral relations, and ensure that foreign missions operate with the authority necessary to advance the country's strategic and economic objectives. The Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Air Force have jointly reaffirmed strong institutional support for the Nigerian Defense Academy NDA as the new commandant, Major General Oluyemi Olatoye, continued his introductory visits to service headquarters in Abuja. During a meeting with the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, the Army leadership emphasized the need for intensified cadet training built on discipline, courage, character development, and strategic thinking. The Corps stressed that emerging security threats demand tougher, combat-focused training models and a curriculum that reflects real operational environments. He also called for strengthened research capacity within the academy, particularly in military science and technological innovation, to advance Nigeria's defense industry and deepen indigenous military competence. General Shaibu highlighted the importance of integrating night fighting capability, enhanced physical fitness standards, and artificial intelligence applications and other modern welfare components into the academics programs, describing these reforms as essential to grooming officers who can meet the evolving demands of national defense. At a separate meeting, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Kevin Aneke, assured that the Nigerian Air Force remains committed to supporting the NDA in developing professionally competent and combat-ready officers. He described the academy as the core foundation of military leadership and professionalism, noting that its role in preparing officers for joint and multi-domain operations is central to the focus of the armed forces. The federal government has launched a youth-focused electric tricycle empowerment initiative, which is another step towards building a sustainable, innovation-driven Nigerian economy. President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Minister of Labor and Employment Alhaji Muhammad Maigari Dengyadi, announced the initiative at its national unveiling at Eagle Square, Abuja. He described the program as a bold move designed to empower young Nigerians while accelerating the nation's transition into a modern green economy. Implemented by the Federal Ministry of Youth Development in partnership with House of Destiny Global Services Limited and the National Commercial Tricycle and Motorcycle Owners and Riders Association (NATOMORAS), the scheme introduces electric tricycles as a cleaner, smarter alternative in Nigeria's transport sector. President Tinubu praised the ministry for its forward-looking leadership, calling the initiative a practical demonstration of commitment to empowering young Nigerians through modern, sustainable solutions. The Minister of Youth Development, Comrade Ayodele Olawunde, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to placing young people at the center of national development. He noted that the initiative responds directly to the President's directive to ensure both formal and informal youth benefit from transparent and inclusive government programs. He reflected on the fact that many young Nigerians, especially those in the informal sector, have long felt excluded from government interventions. The Tricycle Empowerment Initiative, he said, aims to change that narrative by recognizing the contributions of street transporters, artisans, and other informal workers and integrating them into national growth plans. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mr. Mohammed Badaro Abubakar, says the armed forces are tightening the noose around bandit groups nationwide, even as the country grapples with a fresh wave of school abductions in the northwest. The minister acknowledged that security threats remain persistent, but described the recent pattern of attacks as typical of guerrilla operations, in which armed groups launch sporadic assaults to create fear after periods of relative calm. He explained that some of the hideouts used by criminal networks are located in areas where direct military strikes could pose risk to civilians, while others are deep within forests where air assets have limited effectiveness. Despite these complications, the minister maintained that troops are conducting sustained operations and gradually degrading the capacity of the groups responsible for rural violence, kidnappings, and extortion. Mr. Badaro expressed concern that the mass abductions of school children, which had significantly declined over the past 2 years, have resurfaced. The government, he said, has ordered a thorough review of the circumstances surrounding the latest incidents to determine lapses in the existing school security framework. That framework, developed after a series of high-profile kidnappings, had previously contributed to a marked drop in attacks on educational institutions. One of the ongoing investigations focuses on reports that security personnel were withdrawn shortly before bandits struck a girls' school in Maga, Kebbi State. According to the minister, authorities intend to establish whether procedural failures or negligence contributed to the vulnerability of the school. Mr. Badaro also noted growing concerns about bandit groups extorting rural communities in some states. He emphasized that military operations in such locations are carefully calibrated to avoid civilian casualties, particularly in densely populated settlements where criminals often embed themselves among residents. The Lagos State chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC has commended President Bola Tinubu's declaration of a national security emergency, describing the move as a decisive step towards restoring stability and strengthening internal security nationwide. Lagos APC spokesman Mr. Sheye Oladejo welcomed the president's announcement as well as the approval for the recruitment of an additional 20,000 police personnel. The latest intake brings the total number of new officers under the current administration to 50,000 following the earlier recruitment of 30,000 operatives. The party said the decision underscores President Tinubu's commitment to broad-based security reforms, noting that the president's call for a legislative review to enable states to establish police forces where necessary reflects a shift toward decentralized policing and improved local response capabilities. According to the Lagos APC, the administration's current direction highlights long-term strategic planning aimed at strengthening public safety, building trust in security institutions, and ensuring more effective law enforcement at all levels. The party reaffirmed its support for President Tinubu, expressing confidence that the ongoing reforms will help protect lives and properties and contribute to the creation of safer communities nationwide. The federal government has terminated several major road contracts on the Abuja-Lokoja-Shintaku-Dekina and Okene-Ajokuta corridors in Kogi State due to prolonged delays and non-performance by the contractors. The Ministry of Works announced the decision after a review meeting involving Works Minister Senator Dave Umahi, zonal directors, the Kogi State Controller of Works, and representatives of the constructive firms. The termination affects contracts that had recorded minimal progress despite exceeding their scheduled timelines. According to the ministry, the provision of culverts and drains on a section of the Abuja-Lokoja Road handled by Sadogi Nigeria Limited achieved 39% progress with over 112% time elapsed. The contract was mutually terminated, with the contractor restricted to work only within the value of advance payments received. Similarly, Venus Construction Nigeria Limited recorded 33.7% progress on its section of the Abuja-Lokoja Road after more than 131% of the contract period had expired. The contract was also terminated under the same conditions. On another section of the Abuja-Lokoja Road, identified as a flooded area, Sail-Through Engineering Services Limited has been directed to continue the project following a commitment to complete it in 2025. The reconstruction of the Okene-Ajokuta-Itobe Road awarded to CCECC Nigeria Limited showed just over 2% progress after 146% of the allotted time. The ministry ordered mutual termination of both the project and the supervising consultancy due to funding gaps and non-performance. TEC Engineering Company Nigeria Limited recorded 1% progress on the Lokoja-Shintaku-Dekina-Ayamba Road, despite nearly doubling the contract period elapsing. The contract and its supervisory consultancy were terminated. For the Abuja-Lokoja Dualization Sector 3, Abaji, Cotton Karfe, the joint venture contractor, Geld Reactor Nigeria Limited, was directed to return to site within 7 days to repair failed portions and reinstate shoulders to ensure free traffic movement while work continues. The ministry confirmed steady progress on the concrete-paved Cotton Karfe Abaji Road handled by Tikret Solutions Limited, which has reached 40% completion. The ministry commended JRB Construction Nigeria Limited for progress on Section 1 of the Abuja-Lokoja Road and directed that the work be completed before December 10, 2025. This is Comfort TV, the channel news. We return shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Many thanks for staying tuned to Comfort TV, the channel news. In the world of business, the Kano Free Trade Zone has reported a significant rise in economic activity in 2025, generating more than 18 billion naira in combined revenue from operations coordinated by the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority and the Nigerian Customs Service. Data released at the 2025 Kano Free Trade Zone Investors and Stakeholders Forum in Kano showed that NEPSA generated over 1.8 billion naira internally, while custom revenue from the zone reached 17 billion naira between January and October. The figures reflect the zone's expanding capacity, improved operational efficiency, and increased investor participation. The two-day forum themed Strengthening Partnerships for Efficient Service Delivery in the Free Trade Zone brought together investors, regulatory agencies, and government institutions to review operational challenges, regulatory procedures, and strategies for enhanced collaboration. Discussions highlighted the zone's growing contribution to non-oil industrialization, rising investment inflows, and the federal government's drive to expand export-focused manufacturing. Regulatory agencies also outlined measures aimed at improving compliance, strengthening surveillance, and ensuring adherence to global production and safety standards. Officials noted that improved cooperation among NEPSA, the Nigerian Customs Service, NAFDAC, and other agencies has supported the zone's operational gains and boosted investor confidence. The forum concluded with renewed commitments from participating agencies and investors to consolidate recent progress and expand the zone's role in accelerating Nigeria's economic diversification efforts. Still on business, VFD Group PLC has announced that the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has approved an extension of its ongoing 50.67 billion naira rights issue. The offer, originally scheduled to close earlier, will now remain open until December 26, 2025. The extension comes amid strong investor uptake and increasing participation from retail shareholders, institutional investors, and members of the diaspora. The additional window is intended to accommodate more shareholders indicating interest in exercising their rights and to ensure wider access to the offering. The rights issue allows eligible shareholders to subscribe for 2 new ordinary shares for every 3 existing shares held at a subscription price of 10 naira per share. The initiative forms part of VFD Group's broader strategy to strengthen its capital base, support long-term growth, and enhance shareholder value. VFD Group encouraged all eligible shareholders who have not yet subscribed to complete their applications within the extended period to take advantage of the opportunity. On the foreign scene, Israeli forces carried out airstrikes across the Gaza Strip on Thursday, continuing home demolitions despite a ceasefire in place. Military aircraft targeted Gaza City's Al-Tufa neighborhood, located in the Israeli-controlled Yellow Zone, with explosions hitting residential buildings. In the southern Gaza Strip, airstrikes and demolitions were reported in Bani Shuhaila, east of Khan Yunis. The areas also experienced heavy gunfire from Israeli helicopters and machinery. No immediate reports of casualties were available. Access to the Yellow Zone, which falls under Israeli control, remains restricted for Palestinians, and the area has been the site of frequent airstrikes and explosions in recent weeks. Gaza's health ministry reported that at least 347 Palestinians have been killed and nearly 900 injured by Israeli military operations since the ceasefire began. Since October 2023, the ongoing conflict has resulted in nearly 70,000 deaths and more than 170,900 injuries in Gaza, leaving large parts of the enclave in ruins. A court in Bangladesh on Thursday sentenced former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to 21 years in prison over 3 corruption cases linked to alleged irregularities in land allocations under the Rajuk New Town project in Purbacho. The case involved claims that plots were improperly assigned, prompting investigation and legal proceedings against Hasina. Former Prime Minister Hasina, who is yet to be arrested, was tried in absentia, and the court delivered the sentence without her presence. The verdict marks a significant development in Bangladesh's ongoing efforts to address corruption in public housing and land distribution projects. The Rajuk New Town project, located in the capital Dhaka and surrounding areas, has long been a subject of scrutiny over allegations of favoritism and mismanagement in allocating residential plots. Authorities previously launched investigations after complaints from residents and civil society groups raising concerns about irregularities and abuse of office. Legal experts suggest that the verdict could be appealed, and attention will now turn to how law enforcement executes the sentences given. Onto the world of sport, Arsenal winger Noni Madueke is eagerly anticipating this weekend's Premier League shutdown against his former club Chelsea, describing the fixture as a meeting of 2 of the league's top teams. Madueke, who progressed through Chelsea's academy before joining Arsenal, played a key role in the Gunners' 3-1 Champions League win over Bayern Munich, coming on as a substitute and contributing to the team regaining the lead in the 69th minute with a pass from Ricardo Calafori. The victory keeps Arsenal atop the Premier League table with 15 points. Highlighting their strong start to the season, the upcoming match features Arsenal in first place and Chelsea in second, with both sides in impressive form. Chelsea recently defeated Barcelona 3-0, while Arsenal defeated Bayern 3-1 in the Champions League. The matchup is expected to be one of the standout games of the season. Cambodia has withdrawn from 8 sporting events at next month's Southeast Asian Games in Thailand, citing security concerns amid ongoing diplomatic tensions between the two neighbors. The National Olympic Committee of Cambodia (NOCC) notified the Southeast Asia Games Federation that it will no longer participate in football, petanque, wrestling, judo, karate, and several other events. The committee said the adjustment was necessary due to significant security concerns affecting the safety of athletes and officials. NOCC Secretary General Vat Cameron confirmed the decision was strictly based on safety considerations and declined to comment. On whether it was linked to the border dispute between Cambodia and Thailand, he added that reducing the number of participating athletes would make management and security oversight easier. The NOCC announced via Facebook that Cambodia will now send 150 athletes to compete in 13 events, down from an earlier list of 333 athletes across more than 20 sports. The games, scheduled to begin on December 9, comes amid renewed diplomatic strains between the two countries. Intermittent military clashes earlier this year left several dozen people dead before a U.S.-backed truce reduced hostilities. Despite the ceasefire, tensions remain, and Cambodian sports officials says ensuring athlete safety is their top priority as the regional competition approaches. And that's our news bulletin this hour. Before we go, a recap of our top stories. President Tinubu sends 3 ambassador nominees to Senate after 2-year gap. Service chiefs back NDA reforms as new commandant begins strategic engagements. Federal government launches youth-focused electric tricycle empowerment initiative. The Defense Minister says Nigeria is making steady gains against banditry amid fresh school attacks. Lagos APC backs President Tinubu's security emergency, hails boost in police recruitment. On business, Kano Free Trade Zone records over 18 billion naira revenue surge in 2025. Foreign Israeli airstrike continue in Gaza amid ceasefire targeting residential areas. And on sports, Arsenal's Madueke look forward to weekend clash with former club Chelsea. Thanks for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.Channel on all platforms. Remember to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel, click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future updates. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.